This is the plaintiff, Kim Hazel. She says she was walking her dog on a leash and the defendant drove by with her own dog in the car. Out of the clear blue sky, the defendant's dog leaped from the window of the moving car, lunged at her with his teeth and saliva in plain view, and viciously attacked her dog. She also lost her bracelet in the scuffle, and her pinky nail was torn clear off. Now she has the fear of God in her, can't sleep, and wants the $2,521.05 she's owed. This is the defendant, Erica Early. She says her dog simply went over to the plaintiff's dog to play, not attack. Nothing happened to the plaintiff's dog, but she gave the woman her phone number just in case. Now the plaintiff's suing her for a vet bill where the diagnosis states her dog has high blood pressure? High blood pressure? How in the world is that her fault? She's accused of having a jumpy dog.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant's dog leapt from the car, attacked her dog, and for that matter, her. She broke the nail in her pinky. The defendant says it was all just dog play. It's the case of I swear on my pinky.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Ms. Hazel.
Yes.
You are suing Ms. Early for $2,521.05 for damages that occurred when her dog attacked you and your dog. Tell me what happened.
On June 2nd, Your Honor, I was walking my small Pekingese in a subdivision about 3 blocks from where I live. Her car drove past me.
Was your dog on a leash?
Yes, my dog was on a leash, little small Pekingese. We were on a leash.
Do you have a
walking.
picture of your dog?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay.
We were walking. She was on a leash. Miss Early's vehicle drove past. As her vehicle slowed to go over a speed
Hold
bump.
on a second. Was that a picture of her?
That's after. That's
But right after?
No, that's 2 months after the incident.
When you took a picture of your dog, you don't have your dog look at the camera?
She wouldn't. I'm sorry.
All right, go ahead.
At which time, as Miss Early's vehicle was going over the speed bump, the pit bull, I thought, fell out the window initially. So me and my dog, we stopped in our tracks.
How does a pit bull fall out a window?
She did not, ma'am.
What did she do?
She jumped out.
Why is a pit bull able to jump out of a moving window? I mean, out of a moving car. Your windows were down?
My windows were down. They weren't all the way down, but enough for the dog to get out.
Oh, that wasn't very wise.
No, it wasn't.
So that dog got out and you had a second dog in the car?
Yes, ma'am.
And what happened with that dog?
She jumped out as well.
Okay, what kind of dog was the second dog?
Border Collie mix.
All right, so you see a pit bull flying at you, which I imagine is a sight that you never thought you would see.
No.
And what happens?
Ooh. As the dog is charging at me and the teeth and the saliva, I picked my little dog up. And so as I had the leash and the collar in my hand and her dog was attacking, I'm hitting the dog, screaming and hollering.
What are you hitting the dog with?
The leash and the collar. That's all I had in my hand.
Okay.
And I'm screaming and yelling. I don't think she realized that the dog had even gotten out the car.
How do you have the collar in your hand?
Because my dog, when it fell out my arms and dropped to the ground, that's all that was left. The collar came right off her neck.
Okay.
And finally, it seemed like forever, she finally got out the car and she tried to get that first pit bull. And as she was getting that dog, that's when the second dog came out the window, tried to get my dog again. And I'm running down the street. My dog took off like there was no tomorrow. So at which time, she gained control of both of her dogs finally. And I told her, so I need to get some information from you. I don't know where my dog is.
All right. Now, Ms. Early, you stopped right away, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you notice your pit bull jumping out of the window when your pit bull was jumping out of the window, or you heard the commotion and realized it had happened?
No, as I was going over the speed bump, I turned my head and saw my dog's tail going out the way.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So I slammed it in the park and I ran down the road.
Right. So then you run out, and how do you gain control over your pit bull?
I tell her. I tell her to stop. And my dog, I'm sorry, ma'am. My dogs are very well-behaved dogs. I
have no issue with your dogs. I have an issue with you.
Are pit bulls too aggressive? What do you think?
No, I don't.
Why don't you think?
It depends on the owner, and it's up to the owner to decide.
Well, why are there so many bad owners then? Because pit bull cases, it seems like there are more pit bull attacks than anything else. What do you think?
They don't know how to train their dogs.
Right, but why is it pit bulls? Why pit bulls? Anybody?
Is it in their genes?
That's my question. Going inside the courtroom.
It's all my fault that
Right.
my dogs jumped out of the car. And I agreed to pay Miss Kim for her dogs.
And we'll talk about that now, because there's two parts of any lawsuit. One is liability, and the other is damages. One is you did me wrong, and the other is how wrong you did me. Okay, so as I understand it, you agree, hey, it's my window, it's my dog, and everybody has a responsibility to have control over their dogs, whether it's a leash, a better leash than the one you had, or close your windows. But you have to have control of your dogs. Your dogs can't just roam free and do that. So I know you understand that, and I know that your real defense is not, I don't have liability. Your real defense is that she's being greedy on the damages. And we'll go over that in 1 second. Yes. But right now, I just want to know what happened that day. So you walk out, and what happens?
I went to grab my dogs. I got control of my Daisy, which is my pit bull mix. And then when I went to go turn around and put Daisy back in the car, I saw my other dog jumping out. I yelled at Patty, and I saw her dog run away. And then Patty came back.
You just commanded, and both dogs just stopped?
Yeah.
Got it.
That's how.
And you take the dog to the vet that day?
Yes, that evening.
The vet does a full workup, full checkup. In fact, says to you, I want to keep your dog overnight.
That is correct.
All right. And gives you a $1,105 bill.
And 50 cents, yes.
And, well, it's expensive to find out nothing's wrong. All right.
Yes.
So then you picked up your dog the next morning, was it?
That's correct.
All right. And now you call her and you tell her it's $1,105.
Yes,
and you
ma'am.
start a payment plan. But, oh, by the way, how much did you end up paying?
I only had $155.50 left to pay her.
What do you say she paid?
She paid everything minus the $155.50. That was the last that was not paid.
You both agree then that there's $155.50 left to pay on the original $1,105. Yes? And yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that takes that little issue away. All right, now, you're also suing for $583 for acupuncture.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
I have a back injury, bending over, fighting with that dog. It re-injured my back, and I'm terribly. And along with the headaches that I was having, I could not sleep. I was reliving the whole incident. I went and I had acupuncture done for my back.
Okay, I need to see a statement by your acupuncturist that says that the reason that you have come back is because of this occurrence. In other words, it has to be on her, not just a receipt for acupuncture.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Had you been there before?
No.
Had you done acupuncture before?
Yes.
How long had you been doing acupuncture?
I did it the year before.
How many times had you done it?
2 different sessions of 10, which was 20.
When you write something out as an agreement for the two of you to sign, there's nothing there about her paying for the acupuncture, is there?
No.
And that's at the end of June. That's after you've already started seeing the acupuncturist.
At the time when this dog incident happened, my back, I guess maybe the adrenaline, I don't know what to call it, but afterwards, and I met with her and I've told her when we met at the bank, I said, my back is killing me. I'm hurting. I'm on my way to the doctor. So I didn't expect to have a reoccurrence with my back injury, but it did happen. There
was nothing about acupuncture. You're now suing for lost wages. Why are you suing for lost wages?
I missed a day of work.
You're also suing for $1,175.37 for pain and suffering? And that also wasn't part of the stuff you were talking about agreeing with a whole month after the incident.
The whole thing started shifting throughout.
The event happened June 12th?
Yes. No, when I took off from work. The chronos.
That's 10 days after the fight with the dog. That was June 12th. How are you going to link that day that you took off weeks later was as a result of something that happened?
Not to have to take off at all, actually, from work.
Right, but you understand what I'm driving at, right?
Yes, I do.
That some things you can prove up very easily, and you have,
right,
and some things are a little bit of a stretch, and you may or may not get.
The same thing with the doctor's appointment with workman's comp. That was the earliest I could get in was the 15th.
Right,
so,
but that workers' comp is workers' comp, and what Erica Early has to pay is what Erica Early has to pay. Okay, why did you stop paying?
I stopped paying because when I got on the phone with Miss Kim, she kept she tried to express the fact she wasn't trying to harass me or anything like that, but I'm sorry, ma'am. It was more of her actions that was harassment than her words.
What?
Just coming over with animal service cops. She came to my door saying that she was.
Your home?
Yes. She's deathly afraid of my animals, and then when I walked outside with my animals, she couldn't even point out them.
Really?
Yeah, because I have my dogs trained. And I guess she just
other than that whole window thing.
That was just such a bad time. I was just trying to give my dogs a little bit of air. We didn't have any air at my house. Right. And of course.
Okay. So what ended up happening with animal control?
I have to go back to animal service courts on Friday and fight for my animals.
Your Honor, may I interject something, please?
Yeah.
I didn't go by her house. Animal control, she didn't give me her address.
Okay, here's what I think about all this. I want you guys to listen carefully to me. You're at fault and I have to determine what she is at fault for. Okay, the acupuncture, you have in fact a letter from your acupuncturist saying that it was exacerbated, but then you have a bill that you wanted to pay the entire thing for. We know that you have a workers' comp issue, you have prior acupuncture, and you have prior back issues. So what I'm going to do is attempt to do a little rough justice and figure out exacerbation as opposed to it's all your fault that I have a back issue now. So I'm going to order her to pay for half of the acupuncture bill that you brought up. And certainly the $155.50 that she still owes, she's going to have to pay for. As for the lost wages, the proof is just way, way too thin that you end up taking a day off 10 days later. And as for pain and suffering, I also think that the proof is pretty thin for. You went through a difficult thing, and I'm sorry about that, and she's sorry about that, and she's paid almost $1,000 in, and you're going to pay more. You're going to pay an additional $447.50, and I believe at that point, then the plaintiff will be made whole. Okay, I'm glad your dog is fine. I'm glad you feel like you have such a great command over your dogs, but you need to have a command over your mind too, and maybe give him a little AC inside of the car as opposed to fresh air. All right? Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
So the defendant comes out first on the losing end of this case. Step in here. First of all, the judge's decision. What's your feeling on this?
It's correct. I was at fault, so I understand why I have to pay. I just have to go back home and fight for my dogs now.
Yeah.
So that's a little. I'm sorry. I'm a little emotional about that.
Well, what about that? They're the pit bull, and there's a big issue about pit bulls, but you still love your dog like it was your child, right?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah, they're my family. I can't.
What about controlling them better?
I can always do that, and I'm going to ask as much as I can.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. All right. Thank you. Head right down there. All right. So step in here. You satisfied with what you got out of this?
Yes. I just wanted the judge to understand that it was not covered through workman's comp. That was something I pay out of pocket, but yes.
How bad are the nightmares? What are these nightmares like? What's your worst nightmare now?
That dog is coming to get me.
Dead dog?
No. Her dog.
Oh, her
Those
dog.
teeth. Yes.
Okay. Harvey?
Under the law, dogs are actually considered property, but judges will typically award vet bills even if they exceed the value of the dog, simply because it is the humane thing to do.